Namaskar, this is Firstpost and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. It's January 20th, Donald Trump's inauguration day. The stage is set. The world is tightening its seatbelts for a 4-year ride that promises to be full of drama, adjectives, trade wars, and uncertainty. Tonight, we'll tell you all about the ceremony, who is attending, who is not, what to expect, what is the 100-day plan, how is India gearing up for this presidency. Trump may be visiting soon, according to reports. And how is the rest of the world bracing for impact? We'll tell you about the 5 big changes you can expect. Also, how Trump has thrown a lifeline to TikTok. Will China reciprocate by lifting the ban on X? What's with the meme coin frenzy? Trump has minted billions in a day. And how the moving day plays out in the White House. They get 5 hours to transfer stuff. Biden's out, Trump's in. On the other side of the world, the Gaza ceasefire has begun amid talk that the Trump administration may want to relocate Gazans to Indonesia. Why Indonesia of all places? And will it work? We'll discuss that. Plus a special report on Coldplay's Mumbai concert where they apologize for British colonialism. And why Morocco is planning to kill 3 million dogs. All this and more coming up. The headlines first. US President Joe Biden preemptively pardons Donald Trump's political foes. This includes former COVID advisor Anthony Fauci and those probing the 2021 Capitol riots by Trump supporters. Biden said it was to protect them from politically motivated prosecutions under Trump, who has repeatedly promised retribution against his opponents. In India, the convict in the RG Kar Medical College case gets life imprisonment. He was found guilty of raping and murdering an on-duty doctor in Kolkata last August. The prosecution and the victim's family had sought the death penalty. The gruesome crime had sparked nationwide protests and hospital strikes last year. The European Union takes on China. The World Trade Organization challenges its rules on royalty rates for high-tech patents. This move comes amid escalating trade tensions between Brussels and Beijing. China is the EU's second largest trading partner for goods after the US. South African police launch a manhunt for the alleged kingpin behind an illegal mining operation. The suspect was arrested but managed to escape from custody. Nearly 90 bodies have been recovered from the disused gold mine near Johannesburg. And the World Economic Forum's annual summit begins in Davos, Switzerland. The theme this year is Collaboration for the Intelligent Age, where the focus is on a sustainable and inclusive future. Around 3,000 leaders from more than 130 countries are expected to attend. Donald Trump will virtually address the week-long summit on Thursday. The moment has arrived. It's a new chapter in American history. In less than 2 hours from now, Donald Trump will take oath. He will become the 47th President of the United States of America. Now, the Inauguration Day is a grand event. It includes military parades, musical performances, a swearing-in ceremony, and a number of formal events. It's a day to celebrate in the US. One president leaving, another one moving in. But this time, the weather was not in Trump's favor. Washington, D.C. is dealing with an Arctic blast. It is freezing. It's the coldest inauguration day in 40 years. So the entire thing had to be moved indoors. What will it look like? How did Trump spend his day today? Who is attending? And what can you expect from this inauguration. We'll try to cover all of this, starting with Donald Trump's day. The president-elect arrived in Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Sunday was a busy day for him. He visited the Arlington National Cemetery. He addressed a rally. It was followed by a private dinner. And from there, it was straight to Blair House. This is a building right next to the White House. We were there in November during the elections. Take a look. This is Blair House, the white building that you see behind me. This is the official presidential guest house, and it is tradition that the president-elect spends the night here before Inauguration Day. Joe Biden and his wife Jill did that on January 19th before his inauguration. And in 2017, Donald Trump also stayed at the Blair House before his inauguration. There was a lot of speculation that he might prefer a hotel, but he ended up staying here finally. This morning, Trump hosted a breakfast at Blair House. There were Republican lawmakers and members of the upcoming administration. So it was like another get-together. From there, Trump and First Lady-to-be Melania Trump left for St. John's Church. It's a historic church in Washington, D.C., very close to the White House. The Trumps attended service there. And then it was luncheon at the White House, catching up with the Bidens. After that, the president and the president-elect rode together to the Capitol Hill. They used the presidential limousine, the Beast, which brings us to the main event. अभी तो वहाँ The main event, of course, is a swearing-in ceremony. Usually, the inauguration happens here on the west front of the U.S. Capitol. The public is given tickets. The president-elect takes his oath of office on top of those stairs. But this time, it is going to be different. Like I said, there's an Arctic blast. Washington, D.C. is freezing, so the event is happening indoors, inside the Capitol Rotunda. This is where Donald Trump will take oath. The last time a swearing-in ceremony happened indoors was in 1985. It was for Ronald Reagan's second term. According to tradition, the vice president is sworn in first. So J.D. Vance will take oath first, then it will be Donald Trump. Last time he used two Bibles, and he plans to do the same this time too. One is a personal Bible. It was given by his mother to him back in 1955. The other Bible is historic. It's the one that Abraham Lincoln used at his inauguration as president. After that, it will be the inaugural address. Donald Trump will set out his goals for the next 4 years. He wants it to be an uplifting speech. The theme is unity, strength, and fairness. From there, it's a busy day ahead for Trump. He will get straight to work, issuing more than 200 executive orders. We'll tell you all about it later. But first, let's look at the guest list. Who will attend today's event? All living U.S. presidents will be part of the event. That means the Bidens, the Bushes, the Clintons. Barack Obama will be attending alone. Michelle Obama will not be there. Trump has also broken precedent and invited a lot of foreign leaders this time. Some of them will attend in person, like Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Argentinian President Javier Milei. Trump had also invited Chinese President Xi Jinping. He is not attending, though. Instead, Chinese Vice President Han Zheng will be at the event. Also, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was invited, but he too is giving it a miss. From India, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar will be there. He will be carrying a special letter from Prime Minister Modi for Donald Trump. There are also many billionaires and tech leaders attending. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Tik Tok CEO Shu Zhi-Chu, Apple CEO Tim Cook, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, OpenAI founder Sam Altman, and Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani. They will all be attending this event. And who will cover the cost of all of it? The swearing-in ceremony is paid for by the US taxpayer. Everything else is funded by Trump's inaugural committee. This includes the inaugural balls, 3 of them, and the dinner. Trump's committee will cover the costs for these events. And they have received hefty donations from various sources, including America's tech CEOs. In 2017, Trump raised $106 million for the event. This time, reports say it's over $200 million. He's back with a bigger majority, more votes, more political capital, and more money. Donald Trump wants to begin his second term with a bang. He's promising shock and awe. Big changes from the word go. Right before the inauguration, he held a massive rally in Washington, D.C. It was on Sunday. They called it the Victory Rally. Trump addressed thousands of his supporters and he promised them a quote-unquote an extraordinary first 100 days.
The American people have given us their trust, and in return, we're going to give them the best first day, the biggest first week, and the most extraordinary first 100 days of any presidency in American history.
The first 100 days, it's a big deal for American presidents. The honeymoon period, the time to capture headlines, to make bold promises, to signal intent, both to American voters at home and to American partners overseas. So what is Donald Trump's message for day one? What are his promises for the first 100 days in office? He wants to make a splash. Trump plans to sign more than 200 executive orders when he steps into the Oval Office.
But starting tomorrow, I will act with historic speed and strength and fix every single crisis facing our country. We have to do it. Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun watching television tomorrow.
So Trump wants to make an aggressive start to his second term. He wants to sign 200 executive orders. What is an executive order? An order for government departments, an order that is legally binding, and it doesn't need the approval of the Congress, the US Congress. So when a president signs an executive order, he is legally giving an instruction to a government agency. These orders are numbered and published in the Federal Register. But a president cannot give an order, an executive order, for everything. Also, the next president can always cancel them. A court can strike them down. Presidents use executive orders to make quick policy changes, like changing immigration rules or environmental regulation. But a president cannot do whatever he wants with an executive order. He cannot, for instance, overrule the Constitution. Like I said, these orders can be challenged in court or overturned by future presidents. So they're a powerful tool to make policy, but not permanent. Now, for the sake of comparison, Joe Biden signed 160 executive orders in his entire presidency, 160 orders over 4 years. Trump wants 200 on day one in office. Clearly, he's a man in a hurry. So which issues will he tackle immediately? Illegal immigration, it's at the top of his list of priorities. It was one of his key campaign promises, and now he wants to deliver on it. Trump says he will take control of the borders on day one.
We will quickly reestablish control of our sovereign territory and borders. We will expel every single illegal alien, gang member, and migrant criminal operating on American soil and remove the savage gang Tren d'Iroquois from the United States.
Tighter border controls, mass deportation, and a crackdown on criminal gangs. These are his top targets. He will sign dozens of orders on immigration alone. Trump's advisors say immigration raids will begin next week. They also plan to increase deportations. In fact, Trump wants, and I'm quoting, he wants the largest deportation program in US history. He could use executive orders to evict illegal immigrants. But it's not going to be easy because he tried the same in the last term too. The cases went to court, and this time too, a pushback is inevitable. But Donald Trump is said to have made up his mind. His second priority is defense. He's pushing for some bold reforms.
And I will direct our military to begin construction of the great Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will all be made in the USA. And we will get wokeness the hell out of our military immediately and make it like it used to be.
You heard him. On defense, Trump has two key priorities. The first is to strengthen America's aerial defenses. He wants to build a missile shield, something like Israel's Iron Dome. And second, he's targeting the military's DEI policies. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Trump wants to scrap it. Remember, DEI has been a controversial issue. It led to quotas in promotions. It led to reservations for people on the basis of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and religion. Donald Trump wants to end it. He also wants to kill what he calls wasteful expenses. That's the third priority. This one features Elon Musk and Doge. Doge is the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Musk has been given charge of Doge. And what will Doge do? It will advise the government on cutting wasteful expenses. The goal is to cut costs. Musk will spearhead these efforts. Musk and Trump have been inseparable since the election, and yesterday was no different. Musk made an appearance in the victory rally in Washington, D.C. Trump called Musk on the stage, and he did not come alone.
Come here, Elon. Did you see his rocket yesterday? It was captured. And X is with him. X. Come on, Elon. Say a couple of words.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry, little X just followed me on the stage here. He's a very enthusiastic supporter, as you can see. Woo! Yeah.
This victory is the start, really. What matters going forward is to actually make significant changes.
Elon Musk will have far-reaching influence on this administration, far more than cost-cutting. Musk has been hopping on Trump's phone calls. When Trump spoke with Zelensky, Elon Musk was on the line too. He was also on Trump's call with Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. So expect Elon Musk to be more visible in the coming days, if that's even possible. And it's already causing some friction. Reports say Vivek Ramaswamy is unhappy. He was supposed to lead Doge along with Elon Musk. They were made co-directors, Ramaswamy and Musk, meaning they both had the same position. But Ramaswamy is apparently having second thoughts now. He's unhappy with Elon Musk. He feels that Musk is undercutting him. So Ramaswamy is now expected to step away from Doge. He is considering running for governor in Ohio. So tension has erupted even before they start, and it is on brand for Donald Trump. The next 4 years, as we said, will be full of uncertainty. The only thing you can be sure of is a good dose of drama.
The story of the Indian nation is a tale of astounding progress, a miracle of democracy, extraordinary diversity, and above all, a strong and noble people.
So Donald Trump has a busy time ahead. His domestic agenda is packed for the year. Despite that, he's planning some trips abroad. Reports say Trump wants to visit India. We don't have the dates yet, nor do we have an official statement. But Donald Trump has apparently spoken to his advisors. He talked about a possible trip to India. There's a good chance it will coincide with the Quad Summit. Remember, India was supposed to host the summit last year, the Quad Summit, but Joe Biden could not make it to India. So India and the US swapped hosting rights, which means this year, New Delhi is supposed to organize the Quad meeting. Chances are Trump will come for that. But the leaders could meet much before that, as early as next month. Prime Minister Modi is traveling to Paris to attend a special summit on artificial intelligence. In fact, India is the co-chair for this summit, and Trump is also expected to be there in Paris. So chances are we could see a meeting on the sidelines. If not, it could happen in Washington, D.C. Prime Minister Modi is expected to visit the U.S. in the coming months. Back in 2017, he was quick to call on Trump. Trump took charge in late January, and Prime Minister Modi visited in June. So expect the leaders to meet soon. Of course, this is engagement at the highest level. We will see other meetings before that, like between the foreign ministers. India's S. Jaishankar is in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. He is expected to hold talks with Trump's incoming Secretary of State. His name is Marco Rubio. Rubio is expected to be confirmed by the Senate today. After that, he can hold official talks. And those talks will be key for India and the US to understand priorities, to work out dates for the Quad, and to establish a rapport. India is clear-eyed about the challenge ahead. Minister Jaishankar highlighted it over the weekend. He said, "We are on the cusp of a new era." Listen in.
Today, we may well be on the cusp of a new era. One where the United States departs from an established tradition of foreign policy and focuses on its own interests rather than in shaping the world itself. Those most anxious right now are the nations and organizations who are deeply invested in the current order. For the countries who are less invested, it could very well be a time of opportunity. New openings and novel practices could create space that did not exist earlier. India falls in the latter category.
The good news is India has handled Trump before. The bad news is that may not count for much, because this Trump is different. He is armed with a bigger mandate. He is threatening tariffs on virtually everyone, and he is equipped with new tools. Specifically, Elon Musk and X. Trump can use Musk to put indirect pressure on other countries, to run online campaigns against them. We've seen that in Europe, in the UK, and in Canada. At the same time, Musk is a proxy for Trump. If you convince him, you can maybe sway Trump. A lot of countries seem to be realizing that. Italy's Prime Minister has a warm friendship with Elon Musk. Even China's Vice President met him on Sunday. Perhaps that's a strategy that India should think about, because the power centers have shifted in DC. It's not just about congressmen or caucuses anymore. Trump's donors and his advisors have a big role now. You cannot ignore them. Beyond that, there are two challenges: China and tariffs. On the campaign trail, Trump was tough on Beijing. He promised a flurry of tariffs. But after winning, he sent mixed signals. First, he invited Xi Jinping to his inauguration. Then he spoke to Xi Jinping on the phone last week. And now he's planning to visit China. Reports say Trump wants a trip to Beijing in the first 100 days, so India will be watching out for hints. Will Trump's bold rhetoric extend to policies? Or will he sort things out with Xi Jinping? Which brings us to tariffs. Trump has called India the tariff king. And Indian exports to the US are valued at $77 billion. So tariffs would hurt Indian producers. The question is, how will New Delhi respond? Some believe that Trump's policy may have an unintended consequence. It may force India and China to cooperate, maybe expand their BRICS partnership or build alternatives to American systems. Others believe that India could secure concessions from Trump. We've said that India is in a diplomatic sweet spot. Maybe New Delhi could leverage that position, use it to gain exemptions from Trump's policies. Of course, this depends on a number of variables, like how aggressive Trump's tariffs are, how he handles China, and how flexible he is on India. I guess these are busy times for Indian officials. With Biden, they knew what to expect. With Donald Trump, it's back to guesswork. The first 100 days should give us some clues. And it's not just India. Countries across the world will be anxious. They know that Trump 2.0 will not be an ordinary presidency. It will be consequential. The only question is, in what way? Tonight, we're listing out 5 changes, 5 ways in which Trump could shape the world. Number 1, US allies will be on notice. Joe Biden gave them a free checkbook. But Donald Trump is a businessman at heart. He does not believe in free lunches. For example, NATO. Trump says all NATO members must spend 5% of their GDP on defense. The likes of Germany have already rejected it. But I hope they understand the risk. Europe had outsourced its defense and foreign policy to the US. Now they must scramble for alternatives. Because under Trump, US protection is not guaranteed. It must be earned. Same in Asia. The likes of Japan and South Korea count on US protection, but expect Trump to demand something in return. Last time he asked Japan to quadruple payments to the US military. This time he's asking Seoul to do the same. He wants them to pay $10 billion for US military presence. So allies beware, the era of absolute US support is over. Even Trump's buddy Benjamin Netanyahu was not spared. Trump wanted a clean slate in West Asia, so he forced Netanyahu to accept a ceasefire. He had rejected the same deal from Biden in May last year, but Trump arm twisted him. Which brings us to the second change, an opportunity for rivals. Russia's Vladimir Putin tops this list. He is hoping that Trump will force Ukraine to surrender, that he will ensure Kiev remains neutral. North Korea's Kim Jong-un has a similar chance. Last time he held 3 meetings with Trump. The agenda was denuclearization. If he can continue those talks, he can hope for sanctions relief. In Beijing, Xi Jinping has a different sort of opportunity. Trump's stated policy is America first. In his first term, that policy weakened US alliances. It also led to reduced focus abroad, especially in emerging regions like Africa and Latin America. Now, this plays into China's hands. They can expand influence in those same regions, which brings us to change number 3, rising protectionism. Trump's tariffs will be met with retaliation. And before you know it, we could have a full-blown trade war. The International Monetary Fund has warned of it. In fact, let me quote from what they said. An intensification of protectionist policies, for instance, in the form of a new wave of tariffs could exacerbate trade tensions, lower investment, reduce market efficiency, distort trade flows, and again disrupt supply chains. This will affect all countries in the world, both US allies and rivals alike. And it's coming at a crucial time because we're seeing massive advancements in new technology like 6G, artificial intelligence, and robotics. So protectionism at this time won't just have economic costs. It could also reshape political alliances. Next is change number 4, an age of American expansionism. This is the difference between Trump 1.0 and 2.0. The first term was isolationist, but the second term could be more outward-looking, not towards allies or partners, towards neighbors. Trump is eyeing more land for the United States of America. He has offered to take over Canada as the 51st US state. He has threatened to occupy the Panama Canal, and he's trying to buy Greenland. All of this started off as an amusing negotiating tactic, but now they look very real. So the neighbors must brace for big changes. America always had a big brother attitude. Now they're going a step ahead. And finally, the last change, a big rollback on climate action. Trump is expected to pull out of the Paris Accords again. His new slogan is drill, baby, drill, meaning more fossil fuel exploration. Again, it's coming at a crucial time. We are seeing more climate catastrophes, more supercharged hurricanes and wildfires. The one in Los Angeles is the best example. So now is the time to invest more in climate action, not to walk away from it. Yet that is precisely what Donald Trump is expected to do. And this could have a cascading effect. If one country pulls out, why should others stick to the deal? Why should they alone shoulder the burden? Like I said, this will be a consequential presidency. It will cement a new theory in US policy, the theory of Trumpism. When Joe Biden won in 2020, he described Trumpism as a fad. He said, America is back. 4 years later, America is indeed back, back to Donald Trump. So his school of thought is not to be neglected anymore. In fact, it is creating a template for other leaders, especially right-wing leaders around the world. Perhaps that will be the biggest change of them all. Have you ever broken a curfew, gotten grounded for a month, yet just hours later your mother changes her mind and suddenly you're free again? Well, it rarely happens, but that is the story of TikTok in the United States. The app was supposed to be banned on January 19. That was the deadline, but TikTok pulled the plug early, on January 18th itself. The app started going dark on Saturday. It led to mass panic in the US. Gen Z was lost. They did not know what to do. But after 14 hours of rediscovering books, trying to talk to family members and Googling how to entertain yourself, America's national crisis is finally over. TikTok is back online, courtesy Donald Trump. And here's how it went down. TikTok is owned by a company called ByteDance. It is Chinese. And that is the problem. That is what bothered America. They said it was a national security concern. So they gave TikTok two options, either sell to a US company or face a ban. TikTok challenged this in court, the US Supreme Court. Last week, the court decided to uphold the ban. So TikTok went dark in America. When they did, they flashed a message. This is what it said. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. So the ball was now in Trump's court, and he delivered soon enough. He's going to take office today, and he says he will delay the ban. How? By issuing an executive order.
I said we need to save TikTok because we're talking about a tremendous... Who in this audience goes with TikTok? Many? Yeah, very popular. And frankly, we have no choice. We have to save it. A lot of jobs. We don't want to give our business to China. We don't want to give our business to other people.
Of course, this is a temporary measure. TikTok needs more than a delay to survive in the US, and for that, Donald Trump has a new plan. A plan to divest the company. This is what he's proposing, a joint ownership, 50% with America and 50% with China.
And the United States will do what we call a joint venture. And there's no risk. We're not putting up any money. All we're doing is giving them the approval, without which they don't have anything. So, I don't know, it sounds like that works. What do you think? Good?
TikTok is yet to comment on this. It has only thanked Trump for his support, but China did have something to say. Not on Trump's 50-50 plan, but on Washington's approach to this. Beijing urged for independent business decision-making, something that they themselves always follow.
TikTok 在美国运营多年。
As for the operation and acquisition of enterprises, we always believe that they should be decided independently by enterprises based on market principles. If Chinese enterprises are involved, they should comply with Chinese laws and regulations.
提供开放、公平、公正和非歧视的营商环境。
China talking about market principles and laws. Stranger statements have been made, but coming back to the app in question, Trump, China and TikTok, they've all spoken. Of course, the conversation won't be over without Elon Musk wading in, and sure enough, he did. Musk was opposed to the TikTok ban. He said it's against free speech, and no, he was not being an activist, he was just being a businessman. Because on cue, he raised the issue of reciprocity. He said TikTok operates freely in the US, but Musk's platform X is banned in China. So are most other social media platforms, by the way. And Elon Musk says it's not fair. He is right. China's TikTok is taking over the world, but in China, social media is strictly regulated. Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, they're all banned. Do you know why? China says it's because of national security. The same China that was just preaching market principles, regulation, and independent business decision-making. China bans foreign apps in the name of national security. So the question is, can Elon Musk use this opportunity to break the wall? Can he get X online in China? He might try, but he'll most likely fail because Beijing takes internet censorship way too seriously, and honestly, we don't think Musk's posts would make the cut. Meanwhile, there's another company that is looking to milk the situation, Instagram, owned by Meta. Instagram has altered its design. The posts are rectangular. The feed looks like TikTok. It's also released a new app. It is called Edits. Now, this was all to attract the TikTok audience, to look like TikTok. But their happiness lasted barely 14 hours because TikTok is now back. At least for now, it is back, even though questions about security and censorship remain. Musk wants fairness, Instagram wants users, and China wants control. Clearly, this is not just about apps. It is a global power struggle disguised as a tech debate. And the winner or loser, depends on how you see it, is Gen Z. They can have their shot at 15-second fame once again. Now let's look at the other Trump tech story. The launch of the new Trump cryptocurrency, a meme coin. Overnight, Donald Trump added billions to his net worth. He is richer than ever just because he released a meme or joke token. I'm not kidding. It's as absurd as it sounds. And it doesn't end there. This morning, his wife, Melania Trump, released her own meme coin. And that is now worth billions too. In fact, at one point, it was competing with the Trump coin, making the family richer either way. Here's our report.
On Saturday, Donald Trump put up this post. He launched a new cryptocurrency, the only official Trump meme. It even says so on the website. Trump wants people to celebrate his win, join the Trump community, and have fun. That's the claim anyway. But that isn't the whole picture. Because as people flocked to buy this new meme cryptocurrency, Trump was minting billions. His net worth skyrocketed, making him one of the richest people on earth. So how did this happen? Let's take a closer look. This is from the official website. Details about the coin's allocation. There are 1 billion Trump meme coins. 200 million of them have gone on sale. That's 20%. The other 80% are still held by the coin's creators and CIC Digital LLC. Look at the fine print, and it basically says that the Trump organization holds 80% of the Trump meme coins right now. And they will slowly release it to the public. But since they own 80% of the cryptocurrency, as its value grows, their wealth grows too. The Trump meme coin went on sale for $10. There was a market frenzy because it was released just days before his inauguration. People got swept up in the emotion, which drove up the price, all the way up to about $75 at one point. Think about what this means. Trump had 800 million coins. They started off valued at $10, so his personal stash was worth $8 billion USD. With the hype and the buying frenzy, the coin's value went up to 75. Trump still owned 800 million Trump meme coins. Their value shot up from $8 billion to $60 billion overnight. So Trump's net worth briefly shot up by $52 billion in mere hours, just by releasing a joke token days before his inauguration. Now, meme cryptocurrencies are extremely volatile. The Trump coin's value tanked later. At one point, it fell below $40 a coin. But even at that low point, Trump's net worth was up by some $24 billion. Trump plans to release his meme stash incrementally if the coins hit a certain value threshold. So, even though Trump's wealth increase is just speculation right now, he will cash in on this every few months. So Trump is almost guaranteed to make billions just by releasing a little digital picture. His supporters might not agree. They will believe that there is value in the meme, even just personal value of owning Trump merchandise. But cryptocurrencies aren't really tangible. You can't hold them in your hand or keep them in your wallet. They aren't like the old school trading cards or commemorative collector items, and let's face it, the Trump coin isn't rare either. There are 1 billion of them. 200 million are being circulated right now. Basically, their value is questionable at best. But either way, Trump just made billions from them. His wife Melania got in on the action as well. She released her own meme coin, the official Melania meme. She released it just a few hours ago, and ironically, it caused the Trump coin's value to tank to its lowest levels. The meme coin added billions to Melania's net worth, and therefore to the Trump family coffers. If you're buying these coins to show support, that's completely fair. But it's unwise to treat volatile digital items like meme coins as an investment opportunity. Trump says so himself. The disclaimer on the Trump Coin website clearly states that they are not intended to be or to be the subject of an investment opportunity, investment contract, or security of any type. If everyone is aware of this fact, then there's no harm, no foul. The problem begins when people actually invest in meme or joke products. Meme coins aren't financial assets. At most, they are a new age online casino. Go have fun by all means, but remember, the house always wins.
This is a busy day for Donald Trump, and arguably it is just as busy for his new home. Because moving day has finally arrived at the White House. The staffers are in manic mode. They're moving the Biden family out and the Trump family in. They're packing boxes, deep cleaning the house, touching up the paint, restocking the pantry, moving the furniture into this property spanning 132 rooms within the span of just 5 hours. That's all they get, 5 hours. Our next report brings you the behind-the-scenes action.
Moving day is always stressful, but more so when you're moving the old president out and the new one in to a property spanning 132 rooms with the highest possible security within just 5 frantic hours. But this is exactly what will happen tonight as Donald Trump, the incoming president of the United States, moves into the White House and outgoing President Joe Biden moves out. Expect a swirl of activity, hyper-organized effort, and everything planned to the minute. The clock starts ticking when the outgoing and incoming presidents leave the White House together for the swearing-in ceremony. The White House staff, the housekeepers, the butlers, the cleaners, the security officials, they all swing into action. They have only a few hours to move out one family and settle in the new one. So, they will work non-stop to inventory and move all the items. Though there is a little known upside here. The first family is responsible for getting all their belongings to the White House, and it's only after the belongings arrive that the resident staff takes charge. As the ceremony gets underway, moving trucks will be on standby and the resident staff will work in groups. One group to pack the Biden family's belongings and load them onto trucks, and another group of staffers to unload the Trump family's things and put them where Melania Trump wants them. That's right. You see, most presidents move into the White House once, but Donald Trump is doing it twice. So his wife says she will have a much easier task on her hands moving the second time around. She says, "I know where I will be going. I know the rooms where we will be living. I know the process." When she first moved to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in 2017, she called the move challenging. She started living in the White House 5 months after Trump was inaugurated. But for her husband's second term, Melania has already arrived at the White House. She's coordinating the move and making preparations, which are extensive. Between families, the White House is deep cleaned. Windows are washed, carpets are replaced, new mattresses are brought in. Paint touch-ups are made, all the rooms are restocked. This time with Trump's favorite snacks, hair and skin products, floral arrangements, artwork and furniture. While Trump is being sworn in, his staff will stock up the pantry, hang his clothes and prepare the bowling alley. Once the family moves in and settles down, they can bring in their own decorators to give their home a personal touch. But as of now, after the oath-taking, inaugural address, traditional lunch and parade, the new President of the United States will go into the White House to find his family's clothes in the closet, their favorite foods in the kitchen, their books on the shelves, and hopefully no gold toilet in the bathroom.
Now let's turn to West Asia. You know that a ceasefire is underway in Gaza. Hamas is releasing Israeli hostages. In exchange, the Israelis are releasing Palestinian prisoners. The guns have mostly fallen silent and the world anxiously awaits the conclusion of 15 months of war. But what happens after that? What happens to war-torn Gaza, which is mostly rubble at this point? Gaza will have to be rebuilt. And that's hard to do when you have millions of displaced people all over. This ties in with a new report that is doing the rounds, with a rather alarming title. Apparently, there's a plan to relocate Gazan civilians all the way to Indonesia. Here's how the story came about. There was an interview with a member of Donald Trump's transition team, an unnamed source from the incoming US administration. The source was talking about Trump's new envoy to West Asia, Steve Witkoff. Witkoff was reportedly instrumental in getting the Gaza ceasefire deal signed. He flew down to Israel on Sabbath, a holy day for Jewish people, and demanded to see Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Witkoff reportedly pressured Netanyahu into meeting and then into accepting the ceasefire deal. Trump's envoy is now looking at the next steps. The source, the unnamed transition official, said, and I quote, "If we don't help the Gazans, if we don't make their life better, if we don't give them a sense of hope, there is going to be a rebellion." This means Gaza needs to be rebuilt. Unless some normalcy returns, the Palestinians in Gaza will eventually revolt. That is the fear. Taking us right back to where we started. How does one clean up all the debris? How does one clear the rubble that is Gaza today? Especially when millions of Palestinians are out and about, rummaging through their former homes. It will be difficult, to say the least. And that is why Trump's envoy is thinking about relocating them, temporarily moving Gazans to a third country, while the Gaza Strip is cleaned up and rebuilt. Now, one of the third countries being considered is apparently Indonesia. Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim nation. It has staunchly supported the Palestinian cause, and it has pledged to support Gaza's reconstruction. Indonesia has showed unwavering support to the Palestinians, but they did not really sign up to take in thousands of people. Reacting to the relocation reports, Indonesia says it has, and I'm quoting, never heard about this plan. They had no idea they were even being considered as a host country, and their surprise is understandable. I mean, look at the map. Indonesia is all the way in Southeast Asia. Gaza is in West Asia, thousands of kilometers away. It is hard to imagine flying tens of thousands of Gazans to Indonesia. Sure, Indonesia is the world's largest Muslim majority nation, but that does not mean they're equipped to handle Palestinian people. Where do they set up a base? And what do they do about the language barrier? It's all quite ridiculous if you think about it. If relocating is really being considered, somewhere in West Asia would make the most sense, another Arabic-speaking nation, with the resources to host Palestinian people. But that is a potential minefield, because West Asia has seen this play out time and again. The Arab countries surrounding Israel host millions of Palestinians already, people who were displaced during the Nakba in the late 1940s. And with every Arab-Israel war since, these older Palestinian refugees have not been allowed to return. That is why people in Gaza don't want to leave now, even temporarily, because they fear they will never be allowed back. Relocation will be a hard sell, whether to a neighboring Arab nation or all the way to Indonesia. So Trump's envoy might have to reconsider his plan and find a different way to help rebuild Gaza. Let's turn to India now, where Coldplay is all the rage. The British band is currently playing in Mumbai. They performed on Saturday and Sunday, and their last show is tomorrow. After that, Coldplay is off to Ahmedabad in Gujarat. The fans enjoyed 2 great nights of music, and they also got an apology. Not for a faulty sound system or crowd issues. Coldplay indirectly apologized for British colonialism. Listen to this.
It's amazing to us that you welcome us, even though we are from Great Britain. Thank you for forgiving us for all of the bad things Great Britain has done, and welcoming us to your home.
At least someone is apologizing, because the British government clearly isn't. But how genuine is Coldplay's apology? Well, the band does have an activist streak. They've spoken about lack of freedoms in Iran. They have promoted Palestinian songs. Their lead singer, Chris Martin, opposed the invasion of Iraq. They also champion climate action. In fact, Coldplay has cut their carbon footprint by 59%, which is indeed very impressive. Maybe the UK government should learn from them. After all, an apology is the least they could do. Look at this data. It's been published by UK group Oxfam. It found that Britain looted, listen to this, Britain looted $64 trillion from India. This was between 1765 and 1900. So it covers most of the colonial period. Let me put that number in context. In 2024, the global GDP was $115 trillion. Britain looted half of that amount from India alone. And out of this, 33 trillion went to the richest 10% of the UK's population. That's injustice followed by inequity. Classic British policy. Can you imagine how much money this is? $33 trillion. That's enough to cover London 4 times with £50 notes. We are talking about a massive city here. London is more than 1,500 square kilometers in area. Imagine covering that 4 times with £50 notes. It puts the colonial injustice in perspective. So Coldplay have done a decent thing by apologizing. But was it just decency? Perhaps not. Coldplay is known for tapping into local sentiments, whether it's singing local songs or dabbling in the local languages or speaking about local cultures. And we saw various examples of all of that in the Mumbai concert. At one point, Chris Martin chanted Jai Shri Ram, which means glory to Lord Ram. Listen in.
Holy shit. Jai Shri Ram. I don't know what that means. But Jai Shri Ram, okay. Gravity, exams, numbers thing.
The religious outreach started before the concert. In fact, Coldplay did a temple run in Mumbai. Martin visited the famous Siddhivinayak temple, the ISKCON temple and the Babulnath Shiv temple. During the concert, he also talked about cricket. Again, a clear example of connect with the local audience. Martin did not give a shout out to the star batters in the Indian team. Most of them are being dragged on social media anyway. Instead, he praised India's bowling spearhead, Jasprit Bumrah. He even showed a video of Bumrah dismissing an English batter last year. Take a look at this.
Today, Jasprit Bumrah has sent us a very serious message. And he said, listen, I did not give you permission to talk about me in your show. I am the greatest bowler in the whole world. You don't get to talk about me like that. So, with respect and love to Jasprit, #1 in the world, we hope that we can send love to Jasprit by showing you this small clip of India destroying England. Watch this.
Big bands and artists do this pretty well. They don't just copy-paste their songs, they add local flavors. Dua Lipa did the same thing last year. She mixed her song with a song of Shah Rukh Khan. Again, not random at all. This mixed version is quite popular on social media. It's a staple on Instagram Reels. So by playing it, Dua Lipa got the crowd all charged up. As more concerts happen, we'll see more of this. More artists tapping into Indian icons and belief systems. It is proof of India's rising soft power. But it also comes with challenges. Concerts are among the most difficult events to organize because it's not just about big crowds. It's also about sound and lights and the overall experience. If it does not go to plan, you will be criticized. And we're already hearing some complaints on social media. But let's wait until the tour ends for the full picture to emerge. What do you do when your country is set to host the world's most popular sporting event? If you ask Morocco, they may say this: clean up your streets and launch a massacre. Because that's exactly what this North African country is doing. They are preparing to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup. So they're culling stray dogs and puppies with poisons, gunshots and traps. Rabat plans to kill 3 million dogs over the next 5 years. That's 30 lakh dogs to be killed. Of course, there is massive backlash and FIFA has a PR scandal on their hands. But will they do something about it? And is Morocco an isolated case? Here's a report.
3 million. That's how many dogs Morocco is planning to kill. Why? Ironically, to prepare for a joyous spectacle, the FIFA World Cup.
We were very happy to receive the news. Today, the Moroccan dream came true.
We all heard that Morocco will organize the 2030 World Cup in partnership with Spain and Portugal, and the news made us very happy. We are all sure that Morocco will be ready for that responsibility.
Back in 2023, this is how Moroccans reacted when they found out that their country will co-host the 2030 FIFA World Cup with Spain and Portugal. This is the world's most popular sporting event, and Morocco is only the second African nation to host it after South Africa. It's a massive opportunity. So how is Rabat preparing for it? By building what could be the world's largest football stadium, by upgrading transportation infrastructure, and by cleaning up the streets to reportedly make them nicer for the fans who will flock to the Moroccan cities 5 years later. But by road cleanup, they don't mean a paint job or a trash pickup. They are talking about a massacre, about culling millions of stray dogs and puppies across the nation. According to reports, this has been happening for months now, allegedly through horrifying methods. Animal rights groups say dogs are being poisoned with strychnine. This is a toxic chemical which is used as a pesticide. It is being directly injected into the dogs' bodies or being fed to them. Plus, thousands of dogs are being trapped with clamped devices, then transported to facilities where they are being killed. Some methods are even quicker. Reports say gunmen are patrolling the streets and shooting stray animals to death. This mass slaughter of dogs is being condemned globally. Conservationists are appalled. Prominent rights campaigners, including Jane Goodall, have written to the International Football Association and are demanding immediate action against Morocco. They want these horrific acts to be halted immediately, and they have questioned how football fans would feel visiting Morocco. Would they travel despite the brutality? Morocco is not an isolated case. International games have a dog problem. In the run-up to global games, countries often execute a brutal so-called clean-up operation to make cities presentable to tourists, hoping that they boost the economy. We saw this prior to the 2008 Beijing Olympics, when China sent hundreds of thousands of cats and dogs to death camps. We saw this again in 2014 before the Sochi Olympics, when thousands of stray dogs were culled in Russia. It became an international scandal as photographs of dogs dying in the streets were shared widely. And in protest, many Olympic athletes adopted Sochi dogs. Despite the outcry, months later, Brazil reportedly killed stray dogs before hosting the 2014 FIFA World Cup. More recently, in 2022, Qatar was on the receiving end of global outrage as it geared up to host the World Cup. 4 men opened fire on animals in a compound, slaughtering 29 dogs. So if Morocco continues with this massacre, FIFA has a PR disaster on their hands. It's as if the countries never learn. There are many humane alternatives to controlling street dog populations. They require some amount of planning and empathy. But countries would rather resort to cruelty and opt for the quick fix, which may or may not do its job and boost the FIFA economy. But at what cost when it's blood money?
The Trump era is set to return. It will be volatile, it will be chaotic, but rest assured it will be entertaining. We got a glimpse of that yesterday. Trump held a pre-inauguration rally in Washington, D.C. After his speech came a musical performance by a band called Village People. One of them was dressed as a cowboy, one of them as a firefighter, one as a soldier, and another as a leather-clad biker. And Trump, right in the middle, dancing away. time for Vantage Shots, images that tell the story. A migrant caravan departs from southern Mexico just ahead of Trump's inauguration. Thousands battle freezing temperatures to show up at Capitol Hill for the swearing-in ceremony, and a bakery in the president-elect's ancestral German hometown sells pastries with his portrait. Finally, we're taking you back in history. On this day in 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt was sworn in for the 4th time as U.S. President. He's the only U.S. President to serve more than 2 terms. Roosevelt's unprecedented tenure led to the ratification of the 22nd Amendment. This capped presidential terms at 2. We're leaving you on that note. Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow.
Constitution of the United States. So help you God. So help me God.
Te voy a extrañar.
Yo no.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.